Good evening, people of YouTube. My name is Steven. I will be hosting this channel known as Cemetery Gaming for the games that are dead past and gone and being reworked, remade to be so-called better, for the better, or for the worst. That's for you to choose, not for me. I play the games I like, and everyone else in the gaming community plays the games they like. I'll give you an example of a reworked game. Pokemon. Here's another one. World of Warcraft. I'll put these two on the same page, even though they're different games. One of them's PC, one of them's Game Boy. You have two completely different genres. One's an anime-based. One's more of a... I wouldn't know how to put World of Warcraft. I would put World of Warcraft as a sci-fi fantasy medieval game. That sounds more like it. Okay. Pokemon has had several different generations: Charmander, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, Cyndaquil. Give me a second. Cyndaquil, Chikorita, Totodile. Generations go on, so on and so forth. World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft started out in vanilla, which unfortunately I was unable to play. But then it hopped straight into the Burning Crusade, which I was able to play, which I was able to respect. Both of those different games gave you different regions to explore, gave you different quests to do, or gave you different Pokemon to catch. And every time a new game came out, it was reworked. It was fresh. Both having the same concept, being an MMORPG where you quest, have fun with friends, raid, PvP, so on and so forth, catch Pokemon, battle online, or via link cable, which was back in the day. But what have we gone to? Let's see. The most recent World of Warcraft expansion, before, I want to say August 30th, was Warlords of Draenor. With a little bit of Legion mixed in. It was kind of a pre-patch where they were getting you ready for Legion. I believe they had Legion invasions. Demon Hunters were available for pre-orders. And then on the other hand, we had Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Both games were high quality graphics. Sorry, excuse me. Both games were a new touch on things. Both games have an updated system where you can now use it via a Wi-Fi connection to do battles, to do trades, to do different things. Now, World of Warcraft has both at the same time, the same system that they've used previously. But I want to mention something that they brought up in Warlords of Draenor that was completely different, mind-blowing, and kind of singled you out as a player away from the community basis that is an MMORPG, which brings the joy to the game. Garrisons. Garrisons were something that you could do with another person for quests, maybe for a mount. You could do invasions. You could go out in the world and you can do certain quests and come back to your garrison and turn it in for resources. You could go out in the world looking for resources, farming. But mostly it was you inside of a garrison, by yourself, zoned out from other people, just you alone, doing quests to make that garrison stronger. Pretty much, I want to say it was like Clash of Clans, minus being mobile, on a mobile device, minus having tons of minions that you could see on a small map destroying bases. It's more like kind of a, I don't know what they're called, but I remember playing an MMORPG where you had to type everything out, like attacks and things. Well, picture a garrison as more of you clicking everything. You had followers you used, and you sent your followers out on quests. You couldn't see the followers. I mean, you could see them in-game as NPCs, but really, I mean, like, the most you could do was have a follower follow you, and you would get certain perks for it. I'm not fully updated on the garrison system. I don't want to go too deep in it because I don't want to be wrong about something, give you guys the wrong information. If you want any further information about garrisons or anything like that, Trade Chat has a wonderful channel. Boogie2988 has a wonderful channel. Swifty has a wonderful channel. and Athene has a wonderful channel, and to a certain extent, I don't like watching this gentleman, but Soda Poppin actually has a wonderful channel too. If you're PvP based and you wanted to learn about WOD PvP, he's a very good feral druid for arenas and such whatnot. But back to both games. Both games over the year have changed drastically due to the amount of technology we've had, due to the amount of the different circulations of technology we've had come and go. I'll give you an example. A VCR turned into a DVD player, which turned into a Blu-ray we have now. Okay. Now that technology's updated, they're thinking, since technology's making it more easy for humans to live, such as having automatic can openers, such as having a microwave to do some cooking for you that you could do in a pot to make it taste better, or I mean, anything along those lines that you can do, anything that makes your life a lot easier. I feel as though my games are getting like that too. Gamers are judged as being lazy and non-conformant to society sometimes, and I mean, it all depends on what type of gamer you are, honestly. I mean, Swifty's a workout gamer. He goes out, he works out, he games. He works out, he games. He does sports, he games. He skateboards, he games. It all depends on what kind of gamer you are. I don't fit any of those titles. I try to live my life like a normal human being with the games inside them. I don't disobey anyone. I try to follow the will of God, if you will. I'm not going to say I'm fully into that. I've had my experiences, but that's beside the point. Okay. Now these two games make me feel like I'm getting lazy in these games. Catching Pokemon, like legendaries, isn't as fun as it used to be. Everyone has one. You can get one in Wonder Trade, for Christ's sake. You can get a Pokemon, a legendary Pokemon that it took you almost maybe, I'm going to say Mewtwo for example, that was in Cerulean Cave back in red, blue, and yellow version, which were the versions I had back in the past. I wasn't ever able to play the green version. I wanted to play the Japanese one to hear the Lavender Town music to see if the suicide thing was actually real, but that's beside the point. Go to Cerulean Cave and try to catch Mewtwo in those gens. You had to save before you tried to catch him. Maybe you'd kill him. Maybe you'd burn him or poison him and his health would go down. And he'd die before you could throw your last Pokeball at him. Or maybe you'd run out of Pokeballs. Maybe he'd kill your whole team with Psychic. Maybe his barrier was so strong that your Pokemon weren't high enough level after you beat the Elite Four that you couldn't catch him. That's hard. That's fun. That makes me want to soft reset my game a bunch of times to earn that feeling of confidence that I have just got the number. I believe he's 151 in the Pokedex. I'm not too sure. I have no source right now I don't have, this is raw and uncut, folks. I'm not using the internet right now. I'm using a strip. This is straight from the brain, man. Straight from the old dome. Alright. World of Warcraft, we'll go to there now. Back in the day, when I had Burning Crusade, when you were trying to get through Sunwell Plateau, once you dinged level 70 in World of Warcraft, you just didn't instantly go to Sunwell Plateau and start raiding. I mean, for those pro gamers who had, those friends that would take them through and carry them, yeah, I mean, you could possibly do that. I'm not too sure. I'd never seen any guilds that were that good back in the day. Because, I mean, I played on a small server. I played on Zulahead. But for the most part, you had to do those regular 70 dungeons. Then you had to go do the heroic version of those 70 dungeons. Then after you geared that, step up in small raids. If your gear level was high enough. Or whatever they referred to back then as gear. I have a bad memory of gear score, whatever they call it. I'm used to gear score. I'm used to Wrath. I loved Wrath. Wrath was a great expansion. But I mean, it's not as fun. It's not as fun. The roots to these games are strong. The tree they're growing into is horrible. It's starting to get to where the tree is almost fully matured and its leaves are growing and fall's about to hit soon, and all the leaves are about to fall. Then winter's going to hit and kill the tree, and then the tree's going to be over with. I mean, new leaves can bloom and the process can keep repeating. But the seeds from that tree of those 2 games needs to fall somewhere else. New roots need to be planted. New trees need to be made. Harder content. More of a challenge. More of that thrill that I've done it. Not just that achievement, not just that mount, not just that extra content, not just that extra DLC that you want to buy for ESO Online on PS4. Not all that. No. That Skyrim game that you have to work hard to think about what you want your character to be. About how you want his life to live if you're role-playing through it. Or if you're just basically me, just playing the game. You don't want a backstory for your character. You just want to go by the story that they present, but you want to choose the road that your character takes to unfold the story. We need that. That's what brings the joy to those games. That's what brings the new roots. That's what makes new trees grow. I'm sorry I'm using a very corny metaphor, but that's the only one I can currently think about. Like I said, folks, this is raw and uncut. My name is Steven. This is the Cemetery Gaming Channel. If you enjoyed the video, if you enjoy what I talk about, please punch the like button, hit the subscribe button if you feel as though you want to hear me ramble on more. It's not all going to be rambling. If you have stayed this long in the video enough to watch, I appreciate it. Honestly, I do. Because knowing that you have watched makes me think that there's that group out there who wants that change. Who wants that? Who wants those game developers to move forward, to forget about the old ideas, to come up with new ones, but base them around the old ideas. Not just make a remake. That's not the idea. That's not what we're going for, guys. We do not want a remake of something that you previously had. We want something new, something more challenging. Not too challenging where I see any more angry gamers on YouTube on their videos punching through their computer, even though they are very funny. I appreciate those people who post those. But once again, this channel, Cemetery Gaming, my name is Steven. I'm out.